Hi everyone, my name is Mikaela and I will be presenting Chapter 6. In Chapter 6, it's all about improving group climate. The goal for today is to teach you guys all about how to improve yourself in groups as well as the group as a whole. So at the end of this presentation, I hope that you guys will all have a better understanding of some of these following things. Understanding a group's defensive and supportive climate, interpersonal confirmation and disconfirmation, the importance of group cohesiveness, communication networking and the group size, the group climate and its productivity. So first I'd like to talk about defensive and supportive climates. And with that, what is a group climate? A group climate is a variety of factors interact to create a group feeling or atmosphere, how people communicate in ways that help a group establish a positive climate. So first we can talk about what types of groups or teams people like to be involved in, such as school groups. You could do a book club, you could be a part of a soccer team, a basketball team, or a work meeting. And how did you feel during these meetings? Did you feel energized? Did you feel tense? Did you want it to be over with? Did you want it to keep going? That's how we start to ponder what a group climate is. How team members communicate with one another is a primary detriment of group climate. In some groups, we may feel supported. In other groups, we may feel defensive. People who are made to feel defensive try to protect themselves, worrying how they are perceived, how they can win, how they can genuinely defend themselves, while others doing so, they are not spending much time on the group itself. When group members feel supported, they can focus on the group and its tasks rather than self-protection. Evaluation versus description. Evaluation is a you language. It directs itself to the worth of the other person or the person's ideas. Description is described to be the speaker's thoughts about the person's or idea. This type of response leads to more trust and cohesiveness in groups. Control versus problem orientation. Communication behavior that aims at controlling others can produce defensiveness in group members. For example, a salesperson will manipulate people into whether or not they want to buy their product. In group, maintaining a problem orientation is more of an effective approach. Being a person who genuinely strives for a solution, this perception will contribute to a supportive climate, greater cohesiveness, and increased productivity. Strategy versus spontaneity. Like controlling behavior, strategy suggests manipulation because it implies pre-planned communication. So pitching a fit and acting upset to withholding information, acting mysterious or pouting, behavior like this places the self before the group. And acting spontaneously, having no hidden motives or agendas, are more likely to create a more positive climate. Neutrality versus empathy. If you behave in a detached, uncaring fashion, as if the people in your group and the outcome of the group's process do not pertain to you, and at least your behavior will probably arouse defensiveness. So have involvement and concern for the group tasks and other members equals a more supportive group. Superiority versus equality. So if you feel superior to other group members, a small group meeting probably isn't the best time to do that at. For example, the kid that always asks you what grade you got. Most of the time, they're to show off their grade and what they got and compare it to yours. So people create more supportive climates when they try to indicate a willingness to enter into participative and planning with mutual trust and respect. So you want to be more empathetic toward your group members as well. Certainty versus provisionalism. People who always have the answers, whose ideas are truths to be defended, who are intolerant toward people, are easily recognizable because of the defensiveness they produce in others. This behavior is counterproductive in groups. Individuals are more likely to be more effective in their attitudes appear to be held provisionally. That is, if they appear flexible and genuinely committed to solving problems. People should keep themselves open to new information and can admit that they are wrong sometimes. That will be more effective group members and produce a more supportive group climate. Interpersonal confirmation and disconfirmation. So this is a next section for us. So one of the most frequent complaints at group members is that communication of the group seems disconnected or disjointed. Unfortunately, this makes it hard to accomplish tasks or individual needs. Some key terms for this section we have here are confirming responses, which are those that cause people to value themselves more, or disconfirming responses that cause people to value themselves less. These are very important in understanding group climate. Disconfirming responses and confirming responses. So disconfirming responses, they are more different responses such as previous responses, interrupting response, irrelevant response, tangential response, impersonal, incoherent, and ignoramus response. So some examples would be, and we can do an imperious response. One speaker fails to acknowledge, then minimally another speaker's communicative attempt. An interrupting response would be one speaker cuts another speaker short or begins while the other is still speaking. And confirming responses would be a direct response, acknowledgement, agreement about content, supportive response, clarifying response, and expressive of positive feeling. So for an example of that, we have people who find themselves in a defense-confirming climate do not trust one another. Such uncertainty is counterproductive in this problem solving group. So in contrast, in a supportive confirming climate where mutual respect and trust prevail, you are more certain of your own well-being. When using confirming rather than disconfirming responses or communicating with others, group members, people contribute toward a supportive, trustful climate and therefore promote greater group effectiveness and an individual satisfaction. So next section would be group cohesiveness. Group cohesiveness is the degree of attraction members feel toward one another and toward the group. Feeling loyal to the group and an individual has made the group's goal his or her own. Cohesiveness results from the interaction of a number of variables, including group composition, individual benefits derived from the group, tasks effectiveness, context, and communication. Composition and cohesiveness, so building a team. Similarly, of the group members of the degree to which group members needs complement one another are influential in the development of group cohesiveness. For maximum effectiveness, they need participants with different talents that complement one another. On the other hand, even if we think self-selected groups are better, they're actually not as good as we thought. So instead, such diversity can be a source of strength because of the multiple perspectives it brings to problem solving, as long as the group can work together to minimize misunderstandings that can derive from the diversity. Individual benefits and task effectiveness and cohesiveness. So depending on the nature of the group, its members can derive benefits of affiliation, power, affection, and prestige. If people perceive that they derive benefits from a group that no other group could provide, their attraction towards the group will strengthen considerably. Task effectiveness. the performance of the group as well has considerable influence, as well as success fosters cohesiveness. So reaching a common goal provides a common rewarding experience for all the group members. Communication and cohesiveness. Through communication, individual needs are met and tasks are accomplished. In other words, the communication networks and the messages that flow through them ultimately determine the attractiveness of the groups for its members. Throughout communication, people negotiate group roles, establish goals, reveal similarities and differences, resolve conflict, and express affection. Communication is also the foundation for interpersonal trust within the group. Cohesiveness in virtual teams. Virtual teams often show lower levels of initial trust, cohesiveness, and satisfaction, especially with less motivated group members. Regular contact and process feedback can lead to some greater performances, motivation, and satisfaction. So next section would be communication networks. Communication network is the pattern of interaction within a group, or who talks to whom. Another influence on the group climate is, in some groups, communication tends to be distributed equally among group members, and some only in specific people of that group. Other patterns may emerge. These include circular patterns in which people talk primarily to those sitting next to them, or linear patterns in which people communicate in a kind of chain reaction. Once people establish channels of communication, they continue to use those channels. This network of channels influences group climate as well as group productivity, effectively enhancing group cohesiveness, but considerable evidence suggests that free and open communication networks that include everyone in the group are more likely to lead to more accurate group judgments as well as better goal attainment and task performance. So group size is the next section. So with group size, as it increases, the opportunity to interact with others' members decreases. One study found that the cohesiveness is positively related to the opportunity for interaction afforded by the group size. So groups should be large enough to include people with the skills necessary to get the job done, and small enough to encourage participation. Next would be group climate and productivity. Thus far, the chapter has discussed many variables that affected group climate: defensive behavior, confirming and disconfirming responses, group cohesiveness, group size, and has made some suggestions about how to improve the climate of the groups. Another reason for developing and maintaining a positive group climate is that climate affects productivity. Having interpersonal trust means that members believe the others are operating within the best interest of the group and in mind of not from hidden agendas. So that is it for my presentation, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you.